My name is Zohaib Qadri, and I'm running for Austin City Council District 9. My election's still a while away, but I do want to let you guys know why. I started seeing the lack of diversity in the city, the lack of opportunity and the lack of equity in the city for a lot of communities. And I realized how broken, truthfully, the city is. The city doesn't work for everyone. I think this pandemic has highlighted the lack of equity in this city. You know, everything we've seen with policing and the passing of Prop B, which criminalized homelessness. All these individual things kind of, I guess, made me consider, should I run for office? On the local level, which in my mind is the most important level of politics because it affects you on a day-to-day basis.
Zohaib Qadri, candidate for Austin City Council District 9. And I know a lot of you are getting bombarded.
So as a kid, I never imagined I'd run for office. I'm the kid of immigrants, and both of my parents were in the medical field. My dad was an oncologist and my mom worked in the lab. I saw their service to the community through medicine, and that's what I thought I was going to be. But it wasn't until I started school here at UT when I started taking the biolabs and all those classes, I realized I had no interest in science classes. But I did take classes in that time in government and in policy and in law. And I saw policy and politics as a way to give back, to the community. So it was my senior year at spring break, and I decided that I was going to change my whole career path and go into public service. I spoke to my mom first, and she was very supportive, and then I went to my dad. And I was especially just nervous telling my dad this because, ever since I was a kid, I told him I was going to be a doctor, and he had made such a sacrifice leaving Pakistan, leaving his parents and his siblings and all his family, truthfully, and coming to the States to give, myself and my siblings and my mom, all, such a great life, that I didn't want to let him down. But when I told him that I was switching majors and I was just switching career paths altogether, he was very supportive, and he just gave me a big hug and gave me a kiss, and he said, whatever you do, I know you'll do a great job because your heart's in the right place. Like, that meant everything, right? That was like the biggest check mark, like, okay, you're gonna be good. I went back to UT that following morning, and that night I called my parents like I do every night to tell them good night. And that night my little sister picked up, and she was crying, and she said something happened to Dad. He had a heart attack, and by the time I got back into town where my parents live, he had passed away. So I've always used that last conversation with my dad to push me in my academics, and then also in my career. And truthfully, like, a lot of this campaign is true, in honor of him. So yeah. There's like a level of Islamophobia that I've unfortunately dealt with. Truthfully, a lot of that is just like online trolls on Twitter or Facebook who bring up oh, you're gonna implement Sharia law or something of that sort, which is frustrating. But I can only imagine how difficult it is for folks who have run for office before me, who are also of the Islamic faith. I'm not running to be the first of anything, but I think it's important to have a diverse city council that looks like the community. And Islam is the second largest religion in the city of Austin, but we've never had a Muslim run for office, let alone be elected. So I think it's extremely important that we occupy these spaces in these rooms. I grew up in this city, I went to school in this city, I met my wife in this city, I've gotten married in this city, I've started my family, it's still me and my wife and a cat, but we started a family in this city. And it's also when I lost my dad in 2013, I felt like the city kind of kept me whole. It's a beautiful city, it's a city filled with folks that have a lot of empathy and love and care, but we are a city that is continually failing our most vulnerable populations, whether it be students, whether it be folks in the immigrant community or Black and brown folks, or renters, especially our rent house community. I just want to give back and truthfully just be a good city council member. Even when the city will work, hopefully, for everyone, I still want to continue to do good and give back, because I think that's just a tenet of service and empathy that was taught to me by my parents and the work that they did in medicine, and I just want to continue to give back to my community.